Salaamedia, coming to you live from South Africa.
The time is just gone 11 minutes to 9 a.m. and it is clear that we are living in challenging times. It's challenging to live, it's challenging to die as well. And often we've heard of a number of instances where there have been major concerns that have been raised with regard to people who pass away, with regard to burials. And this is the reason why tonight, and just to remind all our listeners that tonight we have got a webinar and it is going to go live on Salaamedia Facebook page this evening from 7:30 right until 9 p.m., where we are talking to various burial organizations, but at the same time, looking at ulama, looking at psychologists, because death at this point in time has become a very, very traumatic experience. And part of the panel are going to be people from right across the country, from the Western Cape, from KwaZulu-Natal, from Gauteng. We've got a psychologist on board. We've got people that assist in the funeral process. And with COVID-19, close on to a year down the line, I'm sure that we've developed enough skill, we've developed enough expertise, we've developed enough knowledge in terms of burial, in terms of processes, and also looking at other issues like the trauma associated with losing your loved one, like the psychological impact it's having on people who have not got closure after having lost their loved ones. So a lot to discuss tonight, and we're looking at a comprehensive discussion, looking at the burials in general, and also looking at this traumatic impact that it's having across on societies. And one of them has been the cost of burials as well, because we have learned that in many instances, because of PPE equipment and the like, in many areas, even burial costs have virtually doubled from what they were a year ago. And one of the problems that has been associated is the time limitations. And we've learned this week about the Mowbray Muslim community in Cape Town, who allegedly are charging 500 Rand late penalty fee. And this has outraged the community. We joined on the line by community activist and member of the Shape political party, Armien Albertyn. Armien, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for having me on this radio station today.
Well, Jummah to you as well for joining us this morning. Jummah Mubarak to you, and we trust and hope that you are well. But obviously, this is a concern, the Mowbray Muslim community in particular, this 500 Rand late penalty fee. What was the issue? What has been the background to this?
Definitely. Look, firstly, we're looking at the challenge where there is poor people that won't be able to afford it, and they're not looking at conditions. I mean, Chef, you saw if you get to go and get the Maya from the hospitals, it takes you already 2 to 3 hours nowadays. We had the janaza one night. The body was supposed to be released 12 o'clock the evening. What happened is we got the body off the Fadr. So to me, all of this is totally absurd. I mean, already we're looking at the price hike of the holds in itself. So you're telling me that don't cover the overtime of the cost of the guys that's working there. So why was the price increased on the holds? And why are people paying so much for all this PPEs and all of this? I mean, Janaza went from 2,000 to 5,000 to even some people phoned in and told me, listen, we paid up to 9,500 for a Janaza, subhanallah. Because one lady who told me that it cost him 17,000 Rand because they had 2 Janazas in 1 week. Subhanallah, in this time, this COVID era, where do people get this type of money? We're under lockdown. Last year, it's been more hectic than this year. People didn't recoup yet. So, I mean, look, government in itself, they got 500 billion. Where's our health minister? Where is the MJC and all these bodies? Why didn't they make a formal appeal to ask for assistance, not just in the Muslim community, but we're talking about the Christian community as well? And then the other issue which saddened me is to see ulama talking about yes, why are the Muslims going on? Because they know of Christian people that pays up to 60,000 rand for a funeral. Subhanallah, that is not. We work on urf. That Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam left us 1,400 years ago, and we following this. So why do we make any statements regarding that the Christians is doing that, the Jews is doing this? Subhanallah, we have our own system, and we need to follow our system. Then Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in one narration, he say that there is two things that you should hurry: is giving a child a name, and Subhanallah, it is putting someone in the ground. Do it as quickly as possible. So if we get to the gates, then you haven't got the 500 rand. That mayat need to lay there till someone eventually come and pay your 500 rand to be buried. Is that the Islamic way? Is that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants of us? Is that what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us? Never, never. So to me, this is a grave concern. We need to treat the dead with dignity, honor, and respect, and the living as well. And it is not happening. And it's not just the Mowbray Maqbara. There's other Maqbaras also. And this needs to be sorted out ASAP. I mean, the MJC told me that, look, they have these funds available. If people is poor, in other words, where people can't afford to be buried, they will assist. Now, my question to Sheikh Riyad Tata is, look, man, you can just, if people don't, but then the people need to go to 1,000 red tapes to get those funds available. And on the second hand is, tell me, Sheikh Riyad Tata, if there is 10 janazas a day, people that can't afford, over a month, it's going to be 300 janazas. Will you be able to assist the 300? So it's all about questions, answers. We don't even know when this Mowbray Maqbara became privately owned. So we need to get all these answers. We need to know why are the people being charged so much. Can we have some figures? Can we distinguish the reasons for all this money, for this price hike more than 60% for a janaza? So that is the questions we want, inshallah ta'ala.
Yes, brother. I mean, in fact, Sheikh Riyad Fatar is part of the panel discussion that we are having on the webinar, looking at the whole burial process this evening, inshallah, at around 7:30. So these are some of the issues that we definitely will bring up. And as you pointed out, it's the trauma associated with losing the person, but also trauma as far as money is concerned. And, we've heard some horrific stories. I've heard of a horrific story where one of the burial organizations refused to pick up the mayat if the money wasn't paid up front in cash as well. Now, these are, these obviously, this puts families actually into a very, very difficult situation, where you've got to basically come up with the money at the drop of the hat as well. So, this is something that we will take up, but just looking at it from your side, and as far as the community is concerned, we know that there has been outrage. The community has been angry as a result of what has actually happened. Just looking at where you are at this point in time, what are some of the interventions that you are looking at?
Look, firstly, we have a problem with the Maqbaras where people are not allowed to enter unless there's janaza, right? To me, that is unacceptable. To me, a Maqbara's gates never gets closed. To me, a masajid's gates never get closed, right? The people, I lost my loved one, I lost my mother, my father, right? Now, what do I want to do? I need to still be there by them. I still need to go and make dua for them. So, all of this is being taken away from us. And I mean, yep, the MJC is bold in their statement when they say they represent Islam, they represent the Muslims of Cape Town. Subhanallah, that's the fathers of the truth as possible, man. Right? Because if you represented the Muslim society, long ago you would have made statements to government and tell them, listen here, but this is the criteria and this is story where people is concerned. If you look at the Maqbara, it's not to say 50 people is going to sit next to each other by the qabrstans of their loved ones. That never happens. If you go to the Maqbaras during the day, you will see, if you see 20 to 30 people there, that's a lot. And where do they sit? One sit here, one sit 20 meters away from the others, and that's how it goes. So why is all of this being stopped? Why is no one taking initiative to grant these people that is sad, that is seeking still for that love for the one they lost? Why is this all being taken away from us?
Well, certainly, in fact, you raise a very, very valid point, and this is something that is not only your experience, brother. I mean, we've heard of an experience. I know of a particular cemetery as well, where the Christian section is open, but the Muslim section is closed, and people have been using the Christian section to get into the Muslim section. And as you pointed out, malls are open. People are closer to each other in malls than what they would be in a Qabristan as well. Now, these are definitely issues that we will be discussing tonight, inshallah, and that is the reason why we are hosting this webinar. And we want to say, we want to thank you. We want to say Jazakallah to you as well for coming on and talking and highlighting some of these issues this morning here on Salaamedia. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for having me, sir.
Armien Albertyn joining us this morning about this incident that took place at the Mowbray Muslim Cemetery. And just to remind our listeners, tonight, 7:30 to 9 o'clock, we have got a webinar. And this is something that is impacting, this is something that's affecting each and every one of us. And that is the reason why we are talking to burial organizations right across the country. We're also talking to Sheikh Riyad Fattar this morning. We've got a psychologist that is coming on board as well. So it's going to be a comprehensive discussion covering a number of aspects that are of concern to the Muslim community with regard to burials. With that, the time is heading to 9 a.m. And when we come back, we still have got quite a bit to talk about right until 10 a.m. Stay with us on this Jummah.